and welcome to this video. This video is different from what I've been doing, which was literally just book talks, but it's still along the lines of everything I've ever done on this channel. So, I'm calling this a bookshelf tour, though I'm not actually showing you my bookshelves really, because that's a lot of work and I don't feel like doing it. And I just want you guys to know what books I own before the huge shipment of books that I just ordered comes in. I just ordered like $200 worth of books. I want you guys to know what I have before that gets in. This is why I'm recording this now instead of later, because content. Because I've got a lot of books, I believe I should start this off. Now, what I'm not going to do is list off this entire top shelf, because you guys know that I have the Mortal Instruments, which spans all the way here, and the Infernal Devices, got the Bane Chronicles, and of course I would get the 10th anniversary edition of City of Bones. So that's all that's on that shelf. But I will start with this shelf. You can see I've got the coloring book right here. So we have the hardcover of Tales from Shadowhunter Academy. You know, I read these on ebook, so I've never actually opened this copy. And I'm pretty sure most of you know by now, because I've mentioned it a few times, I stopped reading Cassandra Clare after Lord of Shadows. So this shelf is filled with a lot of books I have not read. I have read this, but I have not read Ghosts of the Shadow Market. So at least I get to delve into these stories in hardcover. Beautiful, beautiful hardcover. I am biased towards hardcovers because I like them a lot better. And then we have Lady Midnight. This is just a Cassandra Clare shelf, so I'm not bothering with the author name. And then we've got Lord of Shadows, the last Cassandra Clare book I read in full. Notice I have 2 copies of Queen of Air and Darkness. I had started to read this. It got damaged by some coffee. So I bought a second copy, and I just can't get rid of books. So I just keep it. Don't ask me why. I don't even know why I still have this copy. Got maybe like 5 chapters in and then stopped and never picked up another Cassandra Clare book except to buy it. And then we have the Red Scrolls of Magic. And then we have the most recent Cassandra Clare installment, Chain of Gold. I cannot wait to start reading this. After I finish Throne of Glass series and read one book outside of Sarah J. Maas and Cassandra Clare, I'm going to reread Shadowhunter Academy first, and then it'll be Lady Midnight, Lord of Shadows, Queen of Air and Darkness, Shadow Market. Thing is, I need a break sometimes between authors, because Cassandra Clare has a lot of books. A lot of the same author is difficult sometimes. Like, even right now, I'm reading Empire of Storms, and I'm feeling like I need a break from Sarah J. Maas. But that's for the Cassandra Clare shelves. Now, onto our third shelf. The next books in this would be Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I have finally read these, and oh my god, they are amazing. If you have not read these, please go read them. I might actually do a reread so I can actually talk about the books separately. And now we have the Red Queen series. Red Queen, Glass Sword, King's Cage, and Warstorm. Frankly, I have not read Warstorm, even after all this time, and I bought it when it first came out, so tells you how long it's been since I've looked at Victoria Aveyard. I might continue. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's worth it because books kind of declined in my perspective. I mean, Red Queen was good. Glass Sword dropped a bit. King's Cage brought it back up a bit, but I never felt inclined to really continue for some reason. Let me know in the comments if it's worth finishing. Next, we have Heartless by Marissa Meyer. Amazing book. Please, if you haven't read this, it's great. It's a beautiful standalone. Though, be warned, Marissa Meyer will take your heart, fill it with love, and then rip it out, crush it, burn it to ash. So, if you're into that kind of thing, please pick it up. It is an amazing book. And yeah, next up we have the Renegades trilogy. These are good books. I still haven't finished it. I haven't finished Supernova. I haven't really started it either, but I do like this series. I'm super invested in Nova and Adrian. So if you like superhero kinds of things, please give this a try. There's a lot of like cliches and tropes and just a lot of things that are just typical superhero stuff, but I've managed to look over that for this series because it's actually, I like the characters and they're amazing, and I just love Marissa Meyer's writing. If you haven't read these, please at least give it a shot and try and look past the whole superhero cliches that are in here. That's what draws people away from them, but I still think that they're some pretty good books. And then, of course, we have our Throne of Glass series, all except Empire of Storms in this box set. This is very heavy. All except Empire of Storms because that's at the other end of the house and I don't feel like going to grab it. If you have not read these books, please go pick them up. I'm really enjoying the series, and that's after hearing a lot of mixed reviews. A lot of people loving it, but also a lot of people saying Court of Thorns and Roses is better. I'm gonna put this down. But after hearing a lot of mixed things about this, I finally gave it a shot. And now look at me. That's my first 3 shelves. Now the next ones you can't see, and I'm not moving camera except for one time in this, and that's so you can see the shelf that you guys are always sitting on. The Lunar Chronicles. Honestly, if you guys have not read these, they're amazing. Winter's a bit slow, but still worth the read. Cinder's a pretty easy read. I love them all. They're great. Please give them a shot. Marissa Meyer is one of my favorite authors, along with Cassandra Clare. Leigh Bardugo's Shadow and Bone trilogy. I read these before I read Six of Crows. These aren't as good, but I still recommend that these are read first because it gives you an insight to a story, though the main characters are pretty bland. Just saying. I didn't have a favorite character in this entire book in the main cast. That says something. It's a subpar book series. It's not amazing. It's not something I'd reread, but it shows some insight into some things. I do like the world that was built, but the characters were a little dry in this series, whereas they're more lively in Six of Crows. Next are some books I covered way back. The Ruby Red trilogy. I still have yet to reread these. I want to reread them so bad. But also, I have to keep reading newer books. Maybe I'll reread them and visit them again in a video. Who knows? I know that this book didn't take me long. Neither did this book. This one took me a little longer, but I'll probably read these in 3 days. If you have not read the Ruby Red trilogy by Kirsten Gier, please do so. These are amazing books. I really do want to reread them. Here's something I have yet to read. It is the Mortal Engines Quartet. I do plan on reading these, but they're not top priority because I've heard literally nothing about them. So I don't know if they're good, if they're bad. I bought them on a whim when the movie came out. That's how I heard about this series. I will I haven't even read them. I will read them at some point, but they're not super high on the list because I've heard nothing about them. I don't know what they're about. All I know is there's like moving machine-like cities, and that's pretty much it. Next, we have the Arquebus Scythe trilogy. I made it like halfway through this book. Didn't finish it, but I'm going to restart this series because I finally got these two and it's done. I can just binge it. And I am so looking forward to that. I really, really want to read these books because I was enjoying this book. I was just reading it at a really awful time. Next is another trilogy, which is the Frostblood trilogy by Ellie Blake. Amazing series. I loved these books. I picked this up on a whim, and it sat on my shelf for the longest time, and then I read it. And I was like, holy shit, I need the other book. And I read these when this was just coming out, and because I had paperbacks in the other two, I was like, okay, I'll wait until the paperback comes out. So the hardcover was the only version out. So I waited until paperback was out, and I got it delivered to my house, and I read it. I was so happy. I just loved everything about this series. Totally worth a reread, and maybe I'll reread it someday. Next, we have Snow Like Ashes and Frost Like Night. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to read these because I started this ages ago, like when I was in college ages ago, and never continued past. I don't even think I made it to chapter 2. I do not believe I made it past chapter 2. So I don't know. Do the books get better? It just seemed boring to me. Might have been the time I was reading it, but I don't know. We have the Glass Spare duology by Lauren DeStefano. Great duology. I loved it. Next, we have the Ash Princess trilogy, of which Ember Queen just came out this year, and it was amazing. I loved that ending. I loved it. It was amazing. I personally love this series, and if you have not read these by Laura Sebastian, please go give them a shot. Okay, now we have another duology, the Everless duology by Sarah Holland. Great series, not so great an ending. The ending seemed kind of fast to me. I don't even remember it that well, but I really loved this book. This book was a little iffy, but this was a strong beginning. Next, we have Eon and Eona, which I've had for so long, and I still have not gotten past Eon. I always read this when I shouldn't be reading it, and frankly, I need to stop that. This is interesting enough that I know it can grab my attention if I stop reading it when I'm entering reading slumps. I need to stop that. I feel like this could be a very good series. Next, we have A Shadow Bright and Burning and A Poison Dark and Drowning by Jessica Cluess. I'm not feeling too inclined to continue this series, which is why I haven't bought the third book, because I didn't like how this ended. I actually threw this book. At that ending, I threw it and didn't want to look back. If it's worth it, I will read it. But for now, I'm just keeping these two books. Now, I have the movie cover of the I Am Number 4 series. I do not have any other Lorien Legacies book. I do want to collect them, but it takes a while. We have Generation 1 and Fugitive 6. I've read this. I haven't read this. Frankly, I'm going to need to reread this, and then I can read this. Next, we have Heart of Iron and Soul of Stars by Ashley Poston. And oh my god, it's amazing. This series is a great sci-fi series if you're into sci-fi at all, or even just Lost Princess stuff. Please read these books if you haven't. I literally picked up this book because I liked the cover, and then I fell in love. We have Flame in the Mist and Smoke in the Sun. Read this one, read some of this one and didn't continue. We'll see if I ever finish it. Then I have Ash. It's by Melinda Lowe. Still haven't read this. Next we have The Keeper of the Mist by Rachel Numier. Have not read. Picked it up because it was on sale. So I don't know if I'm ever going to read it. This is a story that goes with a lot of things. Next we have The Stars Never Rise by Rachel Vincent. Again, picked up because it was on sale. The cover was pretty, and yeah, I haven't read. I haven't read a lot of these books. If anyone tells me anything interesting about this without spoiling, I will gladly pick it up. And that's it for the bookcase that's behind me. Now you guys are going to get to see what the bookcase looks like that you guys have been on this entire time. So, let's quickly cut to that. Hello and welcome to this view. So, starting off with this top shelf, we have the Fallen Kingdoms books 1 through 4. I've read this one, started this one, never finished it. If it gets better, I will continue, or if I get bored and find that I want to read these again, I will. But until then, it's gonna remain on this shelf, dormant and not being read, because I don't know if it gets better. I don't know any. We have the first book in the Darkest Minds series. I have read this. I read the entire series, except for like the novels. I read the main 3 books. I love them, and once I get all of the books in physical form, I will reread them and then do book talks on them at that point, because I hardly remember them. And that's due to me having a crappy memory. Next, we have The Shapeshifters, which is a collection of 5 books. Hawk Song, Snake Charm, Falcon Dance, Wolf Cry, and Wyvern Hail by Emmeline Atwater Rhodes. I don't know if I'm ever going to read this, but it's here if I want to. Then we have Fallen, of which I've tried to read so many times, I lost count, and still cannot get far, so I might just not read this. Then we have Becca Fitzpatrick's Hush Hush, and I've never actually opened this, so we'll see if I manage to open it one day and read it. Next, we have 2 books of The Chronicles of Nick. I know this series is probably very long, so I don't know if I'm going to ever get to it, but I have 2 books. I have Infinity and Invincible, so I might read them, I might not. I bought these in I believe 2016, 2017. I don't know if I'm ever going to read them. As with a lot of things that are on this specific shelf, I don't know if I'm going to read them. We've got The Messenger of Fear by Michael Grant. It was on sale. Sue me. I buy books that are on sale and are like $3 or $4, and then I don't read them. Same case with this one, which is by Thomas E. Snegulski, which is Savage. It was on sale. It was like $5. I don't know if I'm ever going to read it, but there's always the chance. Next, we have a book I got for free, Possessed by Kate Can. Probably never going to read. I might just get rid of it, donate it, because I'm just probably never going to read it. Next, we have this duology by Rebecca Lim, which is Mercy and Exile. I have a feeling there's more because it says Mercy series, so it might be more than 2 books. I might just also donate these because I'm never going to read them. I also got these for free with Possessed. Next, we have Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. 3 books. I read this one, never felt inclined to continue. I'm sorry to all of you who are fans of this series. I just never felt the need to continue them. I know Ransom Riggs is a very popular author between a lot of people, but I just didn't feel inclined to continue with the story after this book. I might give it a second chance, but there's also the high possibility I won't. Next, we have the first 3 books in the Percy Jackson The Olympians series by Rick Riordan. I read this one. I got this for free. I also got these 2 for free. I got all of these books for free. And I know I can read them really quick. I just haven't. I'm a horrible. I actually enjoyed this and I wanted to continue. I just haven't. I'll buy the rest of the series real soon, continue with them, and then do book talks on all of them soon, sometime, maybe in the next year. I also know that there's going to be a TV show coming out about this, so I'm deaf, and Rick Riordan is writing the script, so I am definitely going to read these. It is a definite, just when is the question. Next, we have Philip Pullman's The Golden Compass. Funny story on how I obtained this. I bought this because I needed to make change. That's literally the reason I have this. I needed to make change for a bus ticket. So that's why I have this. I needed change. Next, we have The Girl Who Cried Wolf and Hunger Moon by Bella James. I won these as giveaways, so I will read them. They're pretty small, but we'll see when I read them. I'm just very bad at procrastinating books. And we've got Here Lies Author by Philip Reeve, who also wrote the Mortal Engines series, so apparently I've had one of his books for ages now and still haven't read them. Now I have Blood Rose Rebellion and Lost Crow Conspiracy by Rosalind Eves. I read this one. This one was going so slow. I didn't make it that far. I have a bookmark in here for it. I made it to chapter 5. It was just going so slow, I never continued, so tell me in the comments if it gets better, and maybe I'll push through it. Our next book is Amanda Foodie's Daughter of the Burning City. I bought it on a whim, started it, never finished it, didn't make it that far. Tell me if it's good and if I should continue. Next, we have another book I got on sale. The Diabolic. I do plan on reading this. I do plan on reading this, and I know it's a series. Just give me time. Again, I have 8 books coming in, and most of them are 2020 releases, so I'm going to read them as soon as possible. But I'm trying to get to some older books too. And next, we have something I'm definitely rereading before its sequel comes out, Shadowfrost by Kokoma. Oh my god, if you have not read this, read it, please. Godstorm comes out later this year, and I cannot wait for it. I will reread this, do a book talk on it, and then when Godstorm comes out, I will do that one, and oh my god, I love it. I love this book. I'm really looking forward to the next book. It's just amazing. Please go read this. I love it. Next, we have Crystal Smith's The Bloodleaf. Don't know what this is about at all. I liked the cover, which is why I bought it. I saw it online and was like, I'm gonna buy that. Then I have Kirsten White's And I Darken. Bought it on sale, haven't opened it. And then we've got Sasha Ellsberg and Lindsay Cummings' Zenith from the Andromeda Saga. I picked it up on a whim, and that's why I own this. I haven't read it yet, but I plan to. There's a lot of plan tos, and there's just so many books that come out that it's difficult to read them all, okay? Next, we have Furyborn by Claire Legrand. I kind of DNF'd this like a third of the way through. I might give it another chance. Next, we have Beneath the Citadel by Destiny Soria. Great standalone book. If you haven't read it, please do. It's amazing. Next, we have Crown of Oblivion by Julie Eschwag. I did a book talk on this, and I recounted everything in it. Great book. I so wish there was a sequel. I wish there was, because it deserves one. Give me a sequel. Next, we have the Hunger Games trilogy, of which I've never read and probably will never read, but I own it. I'm sorry to all you Hunger Games fans, but I'm probably never going to read this since I've had this since like 2016. They were $4 a piece, so not much of a loss on me if I don't read. But The Midnight Palace by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, on a whim, $4. I don't know why I do this to myself. Free book, Juliet Immortal. I don't know why I buy these. Actually, no, this was free, so I don't know why I'm like this. I'm probably not going to read this, but it's by Stacey J if you think that it might intrigue you. And we have Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young, and the follow-up novel, The Girl the Sea Gave Back. Oh my god. Great book. Dropped in quality a bit, but still good book. If you have not read Sky in the Deep, please do so. And if you have not read The Girl the Sea Gave Back, also please do so. Next, we have The Never Tilting World by Rin Chupeco. I hope I'm saying that right. Great book. I'll reread this, and then I'll also get the sequel when it comes out. I was very hesitant to reading this, but I'm glad I did, because it's actually really good. I love it. I will reread this, do a book talk on it before I read the sequel, whenever that comes out, because I don't remember. Next, we have the first 3 books in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. I have read this one, and not this one. I've read some of it, but not a whole lot. I just felt that this one was dragging on more, so I don't do well with contemporaries. I just don't. I need some fantasy element in there. It was intriguing because of murder and crime and everything, but honestly, I might never continue this series. I do recommend this series though. It's by Carrie Maniscalco. Yeah, I highly suggest you guys pick this series up if you are into contemporary and don't mind late 1800s and some sort of historical inaccuracies. Last books are, of course, the Divergent series by Veronica Roth. Funny thing is, I still have not finished this. I just fell out of liking this because of Allegiant. Allegiant fucking destroyed me, so... And that's all the books I own! Oh my god, I finally got through it all. Yeah, so... That's all the books I own right now. When my shipment comes in full, I will do a book haul then, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was very long. It's going to be a lot longer for me to edit, but I hope you all enjoyed. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Hit that like button. And if you want to see more content from me, Mondays I post random videos, Thursdays are definite book talks. So if you want to see any of that, hit that subscribe button below, ring that bell for your notifications, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!